Hi, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of my creative writing series here on the channel. If you have ever struggled to turn a small idea into a full story, you are in the right place. This series is all about helping writers, especially African storytellers and anyone inspired by African cultures, learn practical techniques to build powerful and meaningful series or stories. In today's lesson, we are starting right at the beginning. How do you find a story idea and how do you grow it into something bigger? We will look at what a story idea really is, the four types of ideas every writer uses, how African storytelling traditions can spark rich story concepts, and exercises to help you develop your own ideas step by step. Whether you are a beginner, a growing writer, or someone rediscovering your storytelling voice, this first lesson is your starting point. So let's begin our journey into creative writing one idea at a time. Developing strong story ideas comes with practice, curiosity, and cultural awarenesses. Before we can develop a story idea, we must understand what an idea actually is. What is an idea? We are looking at the definition. A story idea is a simple thought, concept, or question that inspires a story. It is the seed from which plots, characters, themes, and settings. A story idea can come from the following: a question, a situation, a message, a character, an event, a memory, an observation, and an inspiration. So, in simple terms, a story idea is the starting point of a story. Now, you need to know that there are types of story ideas, and as a writer, you must take into consideration that story ideas fall into four useful categories. And the category number one is concept-based ideas, and I'll explain further here. It is driven by an interesting or imaginative premise. So let's say an example. What if humans never age past 16? This is a concept-based idea for you. That what if, or what if animals could vote? So this is a concept-based idea. So you are basing your ideas on what if concepts. Another idea that you need to consider or know is the character-based ideas, where the story starts with a compelling character. And I have examples here. A girl who can hear people's dream, or an old man who remembers the future. So here you have a character based in the idea. Okay. Then concept or category three, the situation-based ideas. This begins with an intriguing scenario or event. Example is a stranger leaves a note under your door, or a city loses electricity for 40 days. So this is a situation. So a situation can give you an idea to write a story about. And then the last category, theme or message ideas. This begins with what the writer wants to say. An example, a story about courage, or a story that shows that honesty always wins. So now that we understand what ideas are and the type we can create, we can learn how to develop them into full stories. Now that we understand, let's move straight away to the questions. And to develop a story idea, you need to ask expansive or hypothetical questions. And hypothetical questions are incredibly powerful for storytelling, especially because many tales, from folk tales to contemporary fiction, grow from what if scenarios. So you get ideas when you ask yourself simple questions. The most important of the question is just what if. What if examples? I'm giving you an example using the phrase or using the question, what if? So, what if a feared village hunter discovers that the enemy he must confront is actually a long lost relative? So, you have the hypothetical question, what if? So, writing about how to find an initial idea, of course, but the same process can help you find interesting story development questions once you have your primary story idea. So what if question will help you come out with an initial idea to your story, and it will help you develop more. Point number 2, do character development exercises. Many characters come from worlds shaped by family, clan, land, spirituality, and community expectations. Character interviews help reveal these layers. Many authors mention interviewing their characters or creating questionnaires. So, using the earlier example, here are questions to ask your protagonist, that is a vigilante, or your character is an activist. Why did you choose this path? That is, its profession, mission, or lifestyle. How did your upbringing, clan, or community shape your beliefs? Which proverbs or saying best guides your decisions? What does redemption or honor mean in your culture? Who deserves forgiveness and who does not, according to you? So these are example questions that you need to ask your character when you are developing a story idea. So brainstorming your own character development questions and use them to look deeper into the characters outlined in your central idea, their goals and motivations underlying them. Start thinking deeper about conflicts that could arise from these details. Many storytellers often interview people or a particular character they are writing about, where they ask many questions drawn from the individual's life experience or body of work in rapid fire succession. Point number 3, use the news to develop story ideas. News sources such as Joy News, Nation Media, Daily Monitor, Plus Africa, ENCA, or The Guardian Nigeria are full of striking real stories that inspire fiction. You may want to be careful if you search, since news articles may return disturbing true stories. So, an example, searching the key phrase word herbalist for high might produce traditional healer arrested for involvement in land dispute rituals. So, this could inspire subplots such as a healer caught between modern law and ancient customs, a protagonist manipulated through spiritual deception, a character hiding the truth behind a ritual gone wrong. You could also have subplot from news. Let's say if your protagonist is a teacher, a writer, a miner, market trader, or a young activist, search phrases like teachers fight for accessible school environment. Artists want to preserve disappearing indigenous language. So these headlines become cultural spark for your story. Point number 4. Do your 15 minutes a day. Writers everywhere grow through consistent practice. Many storytellers draw from oral traditions that rely on rhythm, repetition, and daily observation. Developing story ideas gets easier with practice, like Olympic training. Good writing exercise is not a one-off. Remember that a good writing exercise is not a run-off. So remember a quote from Jennifer Egan, who said, exercising is a good analogy for writing. If you are not used to exercising, you want to avoid it forever. If you are used to it, it feels uncomfortable and strange not to. No matter where you are in your writing career, the same is true for writing. Even 15 minutes a day will keep you in the habit. Even 15 minutes a day is enough to build a habit, even if it's rough or unfinished. African stories often evolve through multiple retellings. Your writing can do the same. This is a useful way to free yourself from inhibition while also developing chains and effects that are important for a good story in any genre. This mirrors the oral tradition of flowing narrative rhythm and helps you unlock deeper motivations rooted in culture, land, family, or ancestry. What you need to consider when developing a story idea is number 5. Be a journalist about the 5 W's. So stories thrive on context: the village, the city, the tribe, the climate, the politics, the festival, the family lineage. And journalists and fiction authors alike know that the 5 W's are important for a good story: who, what, why, where, and when. You can get so much mileage out of a simple 2-line synopsis and turn it into something so much more substantial just by asking questions drawn from this quintet. So, using the 5 W's to ask questions: who, what, why, where, when, will deepen your stories. So, for an example, you could ask, who is the protagonist in the community contest? What is at stake? Land, honor, inheritance, freedom, justice. Why does the character believe destiny ancestors push them forward? Where does the story unfold? Soweto, Accra, Kampala, Mombasa, Abuja, the Sahara, the Nile, the villages of Botswana. When does the story take place? Planting season, harmattan, drought, election year, or a sacred festival. So these 5 W questions will make your story strive. So ask with the 5 W's and don't leave it out. Ask your characters about their goals, motivations, and conflicts. They are known as the GMCs in writing. So as kids, we learn our ABC. Likewise, writers learned their GMCs, which is goals, motivations, and conflicts. This simple trio of story elements supplies enough to develop a story idea extensively. Often, when a writer struggles with how to develop a story ideas, it's because either they don't know what their characters want, what drives them, and what obstacles these goals and motivations could lead to, or other irrelevancies or incidents muddy the story flow and sense of purpose. So GMCs become richer when they reflect life. So a goal and asking your character about their goals might include reclaiming ancestral land, protecting family honor, getting educated despite obstacles, healing natural rift or cultural rift, overcoming poverty, corruption, or tradition. So these are goals. And under motivation, it may come from spiritual beliefs, family expectations, community loyalty, a promise made to an elder, the need to break generational crisis. And when it comes to conflict, it could include the following: tribal or clan tensions, corruption and injustice, tradition versus modernity, social or economic inequality, natural disaster like drought or floods. Let us continue with point number 7. Write a 2-line, 1-page, and 1-paragraph summary. Story development is an expansive process. This is a useful exercise both for writing a synopsis, that is, when you are preparing to pitch your story, and for taking a basic idea and embellishing it even before the full draft is written. Storytelling includes dramatic beats shaped by festivals, rituals, climate, land, ancestors, politics, and spirituality. For additional dramatic structure, try to incorporate specific beats, which is the inciting incident. The inciting incident is during the annual fire lighting festival, a sacred drum goes missing and a terrified villager screams from the forest. And then another dramatic structure is the first turning point or reversal. That is, evidence suggests a neighboring clan stole it, risking renewed conflict. And then another dramatic structure is the rising action, where mysterious omens, political interference, and old secrets escalate the tension as times run out before the festival ends. Here are 7 essential exercises for you to do at your own time or at your own pace. So, learning how to develop a story idea comes with practice and staying curious. This 7 story development exercise will help you ask questions and flesh out rudimentary ideas with greater substance and details. Exercise 1. Brainstorm 5 new what if questions based on your story idea. Exercise 2. Pick a main character and write 10 questions that reveal: 1. Emotional highs and lows, first or most meaningful cultural experiences, values tied to community or ancestors, personal desires and fears, conflict between tradition and modern life. Exercise 3. Rewrite the news. Choose a character's job or passion and search for it in news and add the phrase want to. Example, musician want to. So the headline may be or can be young Congolese musician want to revive traditional rhythm for modern audiences. So create 5 new goals based on this headline. Exercise 4. The power of because. Write a simple statement about a character. Kofi is determined, or Amina is terrified. Then continue without stopping, using because to connect every thought. Exercise 5. Investigative story development. Choose a story idea, then ask a question for each W and answer quickly. This gives your narrative cultural grounding. Exercise 6. Learning your GMCs. And we mentioned earlier that the GMCs stands for goals, motivations, and conflicts. So the exercise is interview your character about their desires, fears, and cultural pressures. Exercise 7. Write summaries. Craft your 2-line, 1-paragraph, and 1-page summaries using African environments, cultural stakes, and community dynamics. We have a lot of stories, ideas around us, so you can use one to create a 2-line or 1-paragraph or a page summary. Reading like a writer is also a very useful way to fine-tune and develop your instincts around incorporating your stories. If you need further help, contact via email elevatelearninghub21@gmail.com. And that brings us to the end of lesson 1 in our creative writing series. Today, you learned what a story idea truly is, the different types of ideas you can start with, and several powerful African-inspired techniques to expand your ideas into full stories. Now, it is your turn. Try one of the exercises, whether it is what if question, character interview, or the 5 W's, and begin developing your own story idea today. If you found this lesson helpful, remember to like the video, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so you don't miss lesson 2. We are just getting started, and each lesson will help you grow stronger as a writer. Feel free to share your questions or your story ideas in the comments. I would love to hear what you are creating. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. Keep writing, keep imagining, and keep your stories alive.